Mike Damergis along with Rob Carpenter for the Game Green Report. And Rob, the Jets dropped to 3-6 after losing to the Dolphins 13-6 and probably Sam Darnold's worst game of the year with 4 interceptions.
Yeah, it was a little struggle for him yesterday. Trying to figure it out right now. For the season, him being a rookie, there's going to be some growing pains, but yesterday was kind of brutal. It was a tough one.
But growing pains aside, his last 3 games he's regressing. He has 2 touchdowns to 7 interceptions and a quarterback rating on Sunday of 31.8 against the Bears 75.8 and against the Vikings 34.4. You want to see a progression of a young quarterback, and I'm seeing a regression.
That's true, but also you got to factor in the injuries that have been there. When you have a young quarterback and he started out the season with guys that are pretty much used to being in the game, and as the injuries have happened, I think that's part of his regression. Pryor went down, Anoma went down, Robbie Anderson went down. Those are 3 guys that he was used to throwing the ball to. So you put new guys into the game. He's not familiar with them being in the game. So, his regression has slumped, I believe, due to that.
But, Rob, you look at the defense. The Miami Dolphins over the last 5 games are averaging giving up over 33 points a game. They only mustered 6 points. How much can we baby this guy?
Honestly, we still have to just a little bit. We only halfway through his first season. And being a rookie, it's tough. For me, I knew not to put too much into the season with him. I was just hoping that he didn't regress too much. He did over the last few weeks, but like you said, Miami was giving up a lot of points to pretty much everybody. But the injuries took place. There were some guys that came back yesterday, and unfortunately, as the game went on, we saw that some things were actually hampering him a little bit, like long on the snaps. Snaps were all over the place, so that was throwing off a little bit at a time. And
how much does that throw a quarterback off with these low snaps that we saw? And why wasn't Long taken out of the game if that's the case?
It affects him to a point, and I think if it was a veteran, it probably wouldn't affect him that much because he can read the defense pre-snap and know where he wants to go with the ball. So the timing with Darnold, I think, was thrown off just quite a bit. And unfortunately, it took Bowles a long time to get Long out of the game. By that time, it was pretty much, the damage had already been done. Offensive line didn't play that well. He took sacks that I don't think he, had taken weeks prior to that. He was getting rid of the ball. He was on the run a lot because of the pressure. So, that was a game I think they can learn some from, but I think they just want to go in today and kind of just burn that tape.
But Rob, listen, Jet fans are tired of learning. They're trying to hearing about that. Tell me something that you see as a former NFL wide receiver that this guy is progressing. Something to give the Jet fans to hold on to.
Well, if they take a look over the first few weeks, his progression was there. Like I said, when you have a guy who actually is used to throwing the ball to certain guys and those guys aren't there, you have guys who are pretty much green, just like him, playing in an NFL game. So, things are going to happen that aren't too good. He was trying to force the ball, I think, a little bit to Burnett. He's used to having Burnett with him, at USC, so he's familiar with him. But Burnett also has to learn the game in the NFL. I made a comment yesterday during the game. Burnett actually, he threw a pass to Burnett that was broken up on 3rd down. It should have been a 1st down, but Burnett stopped. It was man-to-man. He has to understand that it's man-to-man. So if Darnold is reading man-to-man and Burnett doesn't, that's a miscommunication, and those things happen to young guys.
I don't understand if they're having trouble with the snaps. Why doesn't the coach, Todd Bowles, get a replacement in there? To me, it was just too late in the game to get a replacement in there at center. And why is he in the shotgun? Why wouldn't you put him under center?
That's a situation that I think they were trying to alleviate some of the pressure. If he was under center, the pressure's right in his face right away. He has to read right from the jump as he's in his drop back. And the pressure was getting to him, and I think they understood that. They were just hoping that the snaps would be better. And Todd Bowles did take too long to get Long out of there. He should have been replaced much earlier in the game. Situations probably would have been a little different on 2nd, 3rd downs. I think they stuck to the run just a little bit too long also because, we haven't seen Sam in a hurry-up offense yet. And I think if he gets into that situation again, I think he can handle a hurry-up offense. He's shown it, the few times that he actually has been in a two-minute type offense. So, yeah.
Well, to me, a disaster for Sam Darnold, and I think Todd Bowles takes it. So I'm going to give them the Roman thumbs down, okay? The Roman thumbs down for Todd Bowles and Sam Darnold for Sunday's performance. On the positive side, the only positive I really saw in the game was Jamal Adams. He played like a beast in the locker room. Reports were he was basically beside himself with the towel wrapped around his head, kind of like a beaten fighter.
It wasn't only from Jamal. I saw comments. I saw some of the things that a lot of guys said in the locker room yesterday, and the guys are actually, just like Jamal said, tired of losing. They've been here, especially a guy like Robbie Anderson. Like he said, he's been here 3 years, and he said something's got to change. So, the guys are kind of getting fed up. They're not losing faith in each other. They're just fed up with the losing part of the team right now. And hopefully, they can get it together for the second half of the season.
So what is the change actually going to be? Is it going to be Todd Bowles 5-11, 5-11? Right now at 3-6, they got the Bills, Patriots, Titans, Bills, Texans, Packers, and Patriots. I could see them going 4-12.
I could see that.
I'm not good at math. But I know the Jets are going to be in trouble this year.
I could see that, and unfortunately, even before the season, I said they probably would max out at like 5 games. But the way the team,
killing me, Rob.
the way the team is going, but that's reality with the rookie quarterback. If you look around the league, rookie quarterbacks just don't do well. They're especially as starters from the beginning. Sam has made a few mistakes that I would hope that he didn't make, especially yesterday. 4 interceptions, that's kind of unacceptable, especially when you still have a chance to win the game. And they were in the game, the entire game. The defense played great yesterday, and the defense kept them in the game. It's just that offense couldn't get over the hump for whatever reason.
I think if you ask me, Todd Bowles throughout his era, I mean, he seems like a nice guy. The one game he should have won was that last game in Buffalo a few years ago.
Correct.
To me, this game, this past Sunday, was one of those games that you have to win as a coach if you're a good coach. And Todd Bowles just doesn't seem to be the kind of coach that wins the games that the team should be winning.
And I understand that criticism. I really do. You brought up that Buffalo game. That was a game the defense kept them in. That was a game that they should have won, should have been in the playoffs that year. And unfortunately, after that, things were kind of whitewashed. Changing quarterbacks seemed like on a regular. Players in and out, no cohesiveness on either side of the ball. I think everyone knew this year was going to be a rebuilding year. The way week 1 started, it started out like a ball of fire, and unfortunately, I think a lot of fans got their hopes up way too much at that point. But we were hoping just to see progression with Darnold and Todd Bowles. It just seems like, for whatever reason, certain things just stick with him, and he sticks with things just too long. And by the time the game comes around to be won, it's just a little too late.
Okay, what do you see as far as what would be successful progression from this point on for Sam Darnold to give Jet fans some hope that this guy can be a franchise quarterback? Because you look at a guy like Pat Mahomes, and not that we're hoping for a Pat Mahomes, or we're wishing for a Pat Mahomes.
We wish.
But give me something to say that this guy is going to get better. What does he need as well? From your perspective as a wide receiver, what does he need around him? Where should the Jets management be come this offseason?
Well, first to start, for the rest of the season, he has to cut out the turnovers. That's the biggest thing.
And that was his criticism coming into the league, but
exactly.
mostly with fumbles, mostly getting hit.
Correct. And he seems to have total control of the ball now when he's taking sacks. He doesn't fumble, or he hasn't. The biggest thing is the interceptions. He has to cut down on the turnovers. And what you want to see is the actual reads that need to be made for him for the rest of the season. He makes the correct read, even if it's just throwing the ball away. Get out of a bad situation. One thing I did comment also yesterday on the game was it seems like he sticks with the play just a little too long pre-snap. So, for instance, if a play comes in,
everything seems like a check down. I mean, honestly, everything seems like underneath. It's similar to what Eli Manning is doing in a lot of ways. Check down Charlie.
He has plays down the field. He just doesn't take the shot. I don't know if it's him having confidence in the receivers down the field or him having confidence in himself. There was a few times yesterday. I saw plays down the field that he could have took, and I don't think he has a whole lot of confidence in Kearse right about now. But there were times down the field where Kearse was actually open, especially on the last interception that he threw. If he just holds on to the ball one more second, the safety sat in the middle of the field and Kearse ran right by him. Potentially could have been a game-tying score right there because Kearse was running down the field by himself. There was also a time where it was a third down where he could have got the first down. He threw it outside to Robbie where Robbie actually he threw the ball over his head. He was covered by the safety. Kearse was running down the seam by himself. Those plays like that, I would like to see him progress where he actually makes those plays instead of trying to force the ball to somewhere else.
Okay, well, we're going to give, again, the Roman thumbs down, all right here, the Roman thumbs down to Todd Bowles and Sam Darnold. And we're going to give the Reggie Jackson cool. I know we're jumping sports here, but no one was cooler than Reggie Jackson. We'll give it to Jamal Adams because he's proven to be one of the premier defensive backs in the league, and he's really he's giving the defense a personality.
He is, and I think he's taking charge of the defense basically from the time he walked in the door. He's a guy that can be infectious with his personality on the team. His motor just runs and runs and runs, and I think the guys actually see that. So the defense is trying to keep up with him, and that's a good sign. And as we saw yesterday, the defense played well. They kept the team in the game for the entire 4 quarters. It wasn't like they got to the point where they were gassed, and we saw that a couple of weeks. Defense has just been on the field just way too much. Offense wasn't sustaining drives, so you kind of get wore down. And this is the NFL. The big boys actually just up front on other teams just start taking a toll on the defense when they're actually out on the field too much. But Jamal is a guy that's going to play all 4 quarters, and he brings it, and I think the defense is following his lead.
Is there fear among the Jets? And this, you were with the team in '92 with Brownie Nagel. You guys finished 4-12. '93, 8-8. You guys lost your last 3 games, and then, of course, you were part of the spike game with Dan Marino. You guys basically, if you win that game, you have control of the AFC East. You lose that game, and you finish the year 6-10. Right. Are we at the point with the Jets where you can see them just basically tanking these last few games?
Not yet. I think they know the situation that's at hand right now. I think they knew that there was going to be a sort of a learning curve. I think they know that there's a few games that you have left in the division and within the conference, and games that they can win. They feel confident in winning, but it's yet to be seen. And hopefully, after next week and they go into the bye, some of that confidence can come back. Sometimes just a little break will help out quite a bit. And hopefully, going to this Buffalo game, get a win, and we see what happens after that. But you don't want to see at this point right now, just basically at the halfway point of the season, you don't want to see the guys actually tanking the season away. Not at this point.
Well, in the 6 Jet losses, Sam Darnold has 4 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. In the 3 wins, 7 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So there you have it.
That's it.
There you have it.
That's basically it, and that's all it is.
All right, he's Rob Carpenter. I'm Mike Damergis for the Gang Green Report.